Hello friends and enemies. Today we're diving back into the world of My Hero Academia with McFarlane Toys' Mirio Togata. And he looks kind of simple, but I am excited about this one because I love Mirio. He is a great character. So he doesn't seem too crazy looks-wise, definitely not much going on accessories-wise because we can see he just comes with the fists. But I like him. He's a sweet guy. You got to appreciate the personality sometimes. So yeah, I want to say this is the new My Hero Academia McFarlane Toys packaging, but it's not because it's been like this for a while now. With the blue background, a picture of the toy on the front, another picture of the toy on the back in a fighting pose, more images on the side, ages 12 and up. If you give this to someone who is below the age of 12, they will fall through the floor indefinitely, and that can't be comfortable. So I like Mirio a lot. But, you know who I like even more and would love to see a figure of? Amajiki. Give us Sun Eater. To have a Sun Eater next to a Lemillion would be amazing. So, as always with the McFarlane My Hero toys, and actually most McFarlane toys in general, you get a little circular stand, which in my experience doesn't do much. But you'll probably still want it, so don't throw it away with the packaging. Or do. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. I mean, I have absolutely no business doing that. I can usually tell you what not to do in your life if you want it to turn out okay. But man, things happen. No matter how well you plan or what you think you're going to do, life will always kind of throw you for a loop. And you know what? Mirio knows that all too well. I guess spoilers don't matter because it's been a while since this happened, but yeah, he lost all his powers, and I actually haven't been keeping up with the series, so I don't know if he got his powers back or anything. I know they're all fighting Tamora, but I don't know if Mirio got his powers back. I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments. So right off the bat, the one thing I noticed is that the visor on this figure is warped on the side. You can see on this side it's supposed to be like a curve kind of up top, and this one is folded in weirdly. It's kind of hard to see against the yellow of his hair, but it's a little foldy. So maybe with some heat that will straighten itself out. I feel like I know what to expect now with the McFarlane My Hero toys. They've gone way up in quality since the first wave. And actually I have some first wave figures to compare him to, and you'll see what I mean. But they look great now. First wave, not so much. Since then, pretty good. And what I'm finding interesting is that this figure has a texture all over. Like everywhere has this kind of bumpy or grainy texture. And I don't really mind that. It's kind of like nicely tactile, if that makes sense. Really the only smooth part is his visor. One thing I want to kind of gripe about really quick is that if you see the back of the box, he has a completely different head. So he's got a serious unvisored head. That doesn't come in this figure. This, I think, is a like a chase variant of the Platinum Edition, I think. So even though this head is on the back of the regular figures packaging, you're only going to get this head. And I think that's a little misleading, especially if you're marketing this to, you know, like younger people, maybe some younger kids who watch My Hero. They might open it up and be like, oh, that's cool, but where's his serious face? And he doesn't have a serious face, sweetheart, I'm sorry. That's what the mom would say. He's only got this face and you gotta learn to live with it. See, that's life again. Life just throws you for a loop sometimes. So yeah, that is, I wouldn't recommend that, putting something on the box that isn't included in the box, but that's just how it is, I guess, in this particular instance. But maybe in the future, they can not do that. And in all honesty, it doesn't really bother me much because I much prefer his happy look because he's a happy boy. He's smiling most of the time. So the sculpt is great. The costume is very simplistic, so there's not a lot to get wrong. You've got the 1 million across the chest, and that's nice because these are sticking out and the zeros are recessed. So that's pretty cool. That's a nice touch that kind of adds depth to the figure. Love the expression on his face. I love his little dot eyes. His mouth is nicely recessed too. His hair is sculpted very cleanly and is a very pleasing hay color. No major weird sculpt issues or paint issues that I can see. His cloak is rubber and it's also kind of hard. So, I say cloak, but it's a cape. His cape is rubber and also kind of hard, so it might get in the way of posing. Normally these are made of a softer rubber, but this one is pretty stiff. McFarlane Toys stuff, especially the My Hero line, is usually for lower budget collecting, which I think is great, but it would be cool to have like his quirk effect somehow, like maybe even like have it so there's a cut on one of his limbs and you can just have one of his limbs phasing just through something solid. And what also would be hilarious is just a nude version. And I know they're not going to sell that, but like a nude version of Mirio, maybe pixelated in the crotch area. That would be pretty funny, because when he uses his quirk, he loses all his clothes, which is, again, probably why his suit is so simple, because if you're going to lose your clothes, you don't want to have to, like, waste all this time putting it back on. So relatively simple, especially for the My Hero Academia world. Very nicely replicated in this figure. His hands are huge. This boy has some huge hands, and I noticed that in the Deku figure too. He's got some big hands. Not much articulation. I mean, you've got the standard, what, 22 points? Yeah, 22 points. He's a little stiff. He looks down really well. Yeah, not up, because he's got this mullet here. Really smooth movement on the arms. Double elbow, a little crunchy. Let's see about this joint here. Nice twist. Ab crunch, maybe? No ab crunch? I would think we'd get some ab crunch right here, or maybe a twist since we've got this belt to hide a cut there, but there is nothing there. And I'm stressing pretty hard. Big, chunky knee joints and thigh joints, and then equally big, chunky ankle joints and a toe pivot. So it's about pretty standard from what we've seen in this line. Unfortunately, you're not going to get any super crazy poses out of this, but it is passable. And I do like that they sculpted the top of his boot separate from the knee, instead of just having this be part of the articulation and breaking it up when he moves his knee. I think that's a really nice touch. And it fits in so cleanly too. Some nice engineering. Once again though, much like in, I believe, the Kirishima figure, he's got a trigger hand. But like, why? Mirio is never holding a weapon.
Anyway, I started blasting.
It's sad how much I use that sound clip on this program, but it's applicable. So yeah, I naturally want to put him in a flying pose, even though he can't fly. Him not being able to look up very far might be a bit of a problem, but you work with what you have. So, in addition to these, like a relaxed hand and a trigger finger hand for some reason, we have fists, which fits because he punches things. He is a puncher. In addition to his quirk, he is just a very strong boy, and his joints are equally strong, because I'm having a hard time getting this on. His elbow kind of naturally wants to bow in, and that's a little bothersome because I want his arm to be straight out for a punch. You could do like a nice side punch or uppercut with this bow, but if you want just a straight punch, it's just not possible because this elbow joint is just in the way. He's so happy to be punching someone. I don't think as of yet they've announced the other two of the big three. It's only Mirio so far, and that's kind of a shame because he would look so good standing next to them, especially Amajiki, just because they're such good buddies and or other. But what we do have to compare him to are these Wave 1, oh boy, but what we do have to compare him to are these Wave 1 My Hero toys from McFarlane Toys also. And you can see what I mean about the step up in quality, because these, they don't look good. They don't really look anything like the anime. They are poorly made. I hate to say it. I don't like to complain about stuff, but they're poorly made. I mean, just look at Deku's shoulder pads. Just like, it just looks like someone came in with a Sharpie and just like, So a major step up in quality for this line, which I appreciate. You can tell just by looking at them how much better that they've gotten. Scale is a little funky with these. If you remember in my last review of Endeavor, he was very short compared to his own son, who is a child still. Endeavor's supposed to be a huge guy. His son is still a teenager, a small guy, relatively. And just like he was so short compared to him. This seems more in line. Deku is short, or he was last I checked. Kiri is like, probably more average. And Mirio is older than them, so he is going to be taller. He's got a little bit more experience. So I think this scale checks out pretty well. Their heads look giant compared to his. But part of that, I think, is the Wave 1 weirdness, and the other part of that is, I think, character design, because as far as that goes, he does have kind of a small head, because he's he's replicating kind of a cartoon character vibe. Get these out of the way so we can appreciate all the goodness that is Mirio. Like, personally, I don't even need him in a fighting pose. Him just standing there and looking happy and excited is good enough for me. There are a lot of characters that I couldn't care less about, and I don't want their figures. But if it's a character I care about, like Mirio, a character I enjoy, yeah, I want the figure. Even if it's not the best. Which I'm not saying this isn't the best. It is a really nice figure for, you know, the price point and what it is. One note before we leave is that he is very hard to stand up. He's very top-heavy, even though his legs look chunky enough to hold him, and his feet don't like to lay flat, at least on mine. So you're going to want to keep that stand, keep him centered on it, otherwise it doesn't do much good. And yeah, like I said, I don't need him in a fighting pose. I like him just standing there looking happy. And it's gonna be great if we ever get Sun Eaters to stand next to him and look bashful. Great dynamic. I want that. Sun Eater win! Honestly, I thought Kirishima was my favorite character, but it quickly became Amajiki. I love him so much. And also in the dub, he's voiced by the guy who did the voice of Alphonse in the first Full Metal Alchemist anime. So he was just a kid then, now he's grown up and doing Sun Eater's voice. I could rant all day about that anime because I love it. So anyway, this is turning into a tangent quickly. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was a helpful review. Right now we only have one more My Hero figure to open, and that is Tenya, and maybe by the time we get to him, we'll have some more figures announced. Maybe the other two big three, maybe some more villains, who knows. Honestly, a Mirko figure would be amazing. Like I said, I haven't really been keeping up with the series, but I know her. Likes and subscribes are very much appreciated. Comments are more than welcome, and I will see you guys on the next one.